let her tell it. You told her you wanted to have it.
Yeah.
And you said out your own mouth to me that you was looking to be a dad.
Mm-hmm.
So the crazy part about it, and it's crazy how God works, I just knew that I was going to hate that baby.
I just knew.
I just knew. I just knew.
I just knew.
I just knew. I just knew.
I just knew.
I just knew.
I just knew.
I just knew.
I just knew.
Well, y'all, we back. With more tea.
Right.
More drama. Shout out to those who's listening and in tune with episodes 1 and 2. We do appreciate the support. Before we start getting more deep into this journey, we told y'all it's going to get real crazy around here.
Yeah, hopefully today is less crime.
Yeah,
on my part.
Right, because you was cutting up. You looked at that footage. You was clowning. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, so this episode, we're going to dive in and just be transparent.
Mm-hmm. This episode we're calling Anticipation. Yeah, anticipation. That word alone just to let you know exactly the feelings and emotions that we was feeling. For me personally, my anticipation came from a person's worst nightmare. And that was me anticipating my husband having a baby by another woman. For those of you who are just now tuning in, if you have not tuned in to episodes 1 and 2, I spoke on my husband stepping out on me and admitting that he had an affair, he cheated on me. I don't know how else to say it bluntly.
Yeah.
He cheated on me and stepped out and had a baby with another woman. And I did stay with him, tried to maintain throughout the marriage. And this is just the startup of how me staying in that marriage, what it ended up resulting in. And one of those emotions that I felt, of course, was the anticipation of having to witness my husband prepare to be the father of someone else's child that had nothing to do with me. Right? I remember like it was yesterday, just for one, him or her, they literally hated each other.
Yeah.
Like, it was every time you turned around, I'm listening to him on the phone in the other room with her, and she's just not making it easy on him at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it pissed me off because it's like the nerve of you, lady, to come and make stuff even more harder on him. But in the midst of it, it's also like, girl, I'm kind of in the back like, this is what you get. You know?
Right.
I'm kind of letting him
because
like,
I kind of told you.
Yeah.
Like, he said he don't want it. So what do you want?
And then I'm also saying that to him like, this is
what you get.
This what you get.
This your punishment.
You know this girl from Can of Paint. You decided to stick that thing in there, now you got to deal with it. But you know what I'm saying? They said you never know a person until you decide to have a child by them, and that's exactly what happened. And she wasn't even here yet. Yeah. This was just the beginning stages. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about he calling me about how, I don't even know how they met up. I remember him telling me, but I can't remember detail for detail to make it a very accurate, story. Mm-hmm. But I do remember him saying that they met up some way somehow. Oh, I think because he was trying to ask for proof of the pregnancy. Okay. And I think she was trying to pull up on him with the paperwork and all the stuff of the pregnancy. And she felt the type of way that he was even asking for her to do all of that. Mm. And so she was threatening for her to call whoever she was going to call to beat him up and this, that, and the third. And, he was like, she was jumping all in his face. And, I was trying my best not to put my hands on her, but she was just, adamant about just being real, doing too much. Yeah. And so I was just like, when he told me, I was like, you should have called me. I knew if I called you, it would have been a whole nother situation. Yeah. And I was just like,
he did the right thing.
Yeah, he did. But in that moment, it was just the reality of here we go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Because I now got to protect mine because the nerve you put, that's my man. don't put your hands on my man. You, girl, what? That's where I was coming from. Like, don't you dare put your hands on my man. And girl, I don't care what he did. And I'm gonna stick beside him. It was given stick beside him.
That's the problem.
That is the problem. But so that was one of the situations. And then of course, just, you know, anticipating him, just like I said, I seen that he was just really trying to figure out how he was gonna be the best father that he can be to this baby. And then me emotionally, I was lost. I remember being in my apartment and just crying for feeling so lonely.
Oh my God, we said we were not.
I said I wasn't.
It's okay.
But I wouldn't wish that feeling on anybody because it was so hard. Just trying to remember to God, like, you want me to stay in this? And like, for what?
Yeah.
Why am I staying in this? Why am I putting myself through this torture every day, walking around putting a smile on my face like it doesn't bother me, knowing it does?
Yeah.
And then I told you previously, of course, I had miscarried, so that was a whole nother river of emotions that I was dealing with. Still going to work every day. Still being a friend, still being a daughter, still being a wife, still making sure those wifely duties are done. But in the midst of it, internally, I am dying. I'm not wanting to be here. I'm on some, what? Yeah. Like, why me?
Yeah. It's so sad because a lot of the times that we internalize these things, like for some situations, some relationships, these things may not be a reoccurring thing. But when it kind of is, even if it's not to the magnitude that yours got to, even with the little things, the talking to women, the sneaking around, the hiding the phone, the this, the that, like each time it's like you have to, you dig yourself deeper down.
Yes.
And you're fighting to pull yourself out all the time. And then you have this other person, your partner, who's expecting you to be, you know,
to bounce
alive.
Back.
But I always said, I've never known a thief to be sad that he's robbed anyone. The victim is usually the one that's trying to recover that moment of being, you know, not tortured, but that feeling of being robbed.
Yeah.
I don't know no sad robbers.
Yeah.
I know no sad robbers.
No, for real.
So while you're sitting here robbing me each time over and over and over, and again, like you said previously, it's our fault because we stay.
Yeah.
But we stay because we want it to work. We just want the greatest outcome, but we are really doing no good to ourselves staying in these situations at all.
And to make it worse, it was like, even in the midst of having that anticipation going on as far as that, his behavior was not changing. I was still catching him entertaining other females.
Yeah.
Still catching him texting people.
Yeah.
And when I asked him about it, oh, that's just me. That's how I talk. You are literally going through something right now. I'm literally still sitting here.
You shouldn't even have no room.
You shouldn't even want to see the opposite sex at this point. You should be like, I don't want no dinners with her. You should like,
I should have put some type of fear inside of you.
And it's like, it didn't dawn on him. He would be apologetic and, make it downplay it like it was nothing or it wasn't a big deal. But
yeah.
So at that point, I knew.
Yeah. He's not getting hurt though. He's doing the hurting. So to him, it's like, and maybe because you stayed, you know, shoot. I really think they think that they can get away with it. Yeah. Each time they're like, okay, I know last time I got caught, but next time I'm gonna do better.
And no, I honestly had that thought. I asked them too. I say, this is just a situation that came about because she got pregnant. So now I'm questioning on how many other people has it been, but it just hadn't resulted into a pregnancy. Because I remind you, if I told you guys in previous episode 1 or 2, I can't remember, that I was out of town on a girls trip.
Yeah.
having a ball, a blast. We was not in no position for you to even thought about doing anything like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you picked the sunny day on a random Sunday to go out here and go into that type of behavior and then call me, that's kind of psychotic. You out here do some stuff.
No, because
and then call me.
Because what it is that conscience.
Yeah.
It's eating him up. Okay, so let's act normal.
Right. Everybody act like you're chilling. Act like you're chilling. And hold the pose. Exactly. That's exactly what it was. And so it's
giving yourself away.
Gave it away. Because
you don't even call me for real. What about?
I went on a girls trip in March.
Okay.
You told me in April. Which you do the math, it adds up. I was going in March. You told me in April that this is what took place while I was out of town. So you never, and I got back, no beat had been missed. We back still like as if nothing had even happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's why I was even more shocked when he brought it to me, because I was on some like, but what time did you have when? Like, you played it so well. Because you hit me up every day as if it was just a normal day. Oh, I can't wait to get back. Oh, I miss you. What you doing? Y'all lit. Y'all this. Boy, you lit. Clearly, you was living your best life.
That is like, when you really sit back and think about it, and you try not to, because you'll go down in a rabbit hole. Just
for sure.
Doing all the calculations.
Yeah.
But for real. Because, so you just called me, you told me you love me after you did that?
Absolutely.
That's crazy. But again, that's something they're dealing with inside, to think that, and I don't want to cuss, but that shit is logical. Because I don't even know how you live with yourself.
Oh, so here's the hitter. So I mentioned also in episode 1 or 2, can't remember, but I had mentioned I talked to her over the phone. I think I said it was last episode. I talked to her over the phone when I snatched the phone from him, because him and her were texting back and forth. When I got done asking her what she wanted, and she got to saying how she was going to keep the baby, she was saying in that same conversation, like, he told me you was in Vegas with some white dude. You was in Vegas with some white man. So you knew where I was at. You knew who I was. But
so she lied.
Correct. She told me her story kept changing. One minute you say you didn't know about me, the next you knew about me.
That's what your ass good.
One minute you knew about me, the next you didn't know about me. The next you knew about me a little bit because he said I was in Vegas with, but I knew that she wasn't lying, because how would she have known I was in Vegas? And 2, that wasn't the only time that he's always like try to throw a little jazz, because at that time I was bartending a lot.
Okay.
And you married a beautiful woman. So men are going to, flock. But that does not mean I'm sitting here flirting with them. Yeah. That's your own insecurities, number one. So a lot of his insecurities will project on him, not necessarily probably admitting to me, but to other people, as if he think I was out here doing whatever. I'm not. I'm not like that. You know I wasn't. So when she said what she said, it wasn't too far-fetched. It didn't sound too crazy, because it sounded like something that he would say. You know what I mean? So, and I told him, I say, the fact that she even knew that I was in Vegas lets me know that you did tell this girl some stuff about me. Yeah. Whether it was whole truth or not, she knew enough, because I don't talk to her for her to know I was in Vegas. You probably did throw it in there like, yeah, she out there with some white dude. Speaking on some stuff, because she said too, he's always come to work looking sad and always want to drink and want to confide in everybody, which is not too far off either, because that's what he would do. He would drink a lot and suppress.
And you know what's funny? Let me tell you. Is that a lot of these women, right? Y'all sit here and listen to these men. I don't believe anything they say. Let me talk to your ex-girlfriend. What's she got to say about you? Because while you're putting up this great facade, it's a greater woman behind you dealing with your stuff. Okay, and like you said, it's not too far-fetched. It sounds like you went to work being yourself. Yeah. Ain't nothing happened at the house. That's what you do.
But guess what? She was able to see that part after.
But that's what you get.
Yeah. She started to see, oh, you're the problem.
Okay.
When she met me and we finally got to that point, it was like, but you ain't nothing like, you know what I'm saying? And clearly I'm not, because you seen he wanted to stay.
And you know what the crazy part is about it? Is that they would say, oh, it's a Toya thing. It's a Fania thing. But then when we leave, it's still a you thing.
It is.
Because did it get better?
Oh, I was forever I'm asking for too much. I'm this, I'm that. Oh, now that I remove myself.
Did it get better?
Correct.
Okay. 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 I want to know, did you get better?
Exactly.
Because I'm still waiting for the great show that you said you was going to put on when I left.
Like I said, you're the problem at this point. So that was one of the many things I had to deal with in anticipation. Just hearing how him telling me every other day how she get on his nerves, she this, she that, she this. And I'm just at a point, I'm like, stop talking to me about that girl. I don't want to hear about her. I don't want to hear about nothing you got going on. That's y'all problem.
I shouldn't even really be here.
Correct. I'm also like, why am I here?
Like, just torturing me. I'm already torturing myself.
I am.
But the more you come telling me about your baby mama.
So we got emotional. I'm mentally drained. I'm feeling insecure about myself because now I'm questioning myself. Like, my husband stepped out on me to do this. So it's like, is it something within myself? Am I not pretty? What is it that I'm not doing? I didn't have a baby. Can I not have kids? Is it the fact that I'm not able to bear a child for my own husband? Like, what is it? So now all these mixtures of emotions is coming around in my head, whereas now I'm feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
And when I looked at the pictures of myself then to now, I had put on weight that I didn't even know. Everybody thought it was happy weight. That was stress. I had got black, dark blotches on my body. Couldn't explain where it had came from. But when you stressing, your body starts to take effect to that. And it wasn't until now that I'm in this season of my singleness that I was able to take the time out to see what's going on with myself, because then I wasn't putting the time into myself. When I finally took the time out to put into myself, it just took some cream. Not a spot on my body. But these spots had been on my body literally from, I want to say, majority of our marriage, because I didn't take the time out to even see about myself because I'm so invested into somebody else.
And you lose yourself.
Lost myself.
You lose yourself and then how can, like, one of the complaints from my partner was like, you're not supporting me anymore.
The nerve.
But how can I when I'm constantly trying to figure out what you're doing? When you gonna hurt me next? When am I gonna cry? When am I gonna have to bail you out of some shit?
I want to talk about bail.
Living on the PTSD. The phone ring. If this man did not come home at a certain time, I'm like, Lord.
Anxiety. Yes. Anxiety just on.
I turned into his mother.
Correct.
That was no longer my husband.
Toya.
Is he okay? And even when I left, I was still doing it like, oh my God, who's going to watch after him? Is he going to be okay? Is he this? Is he that? Whole time, I'm broken.
Come on.
Still trying to worry about you. Who's worrying about me, though?
Whose way? When I say so many, and it was a lot of stuff that he had going on prior to me and him being together. But I took the role of his wife very, very much so serious. And I think also that was the family's mindset as well, where it came down to when he get locked up, they all tap their pockets like, well, we ain't got it. So my mindset is, okay, neither do I, but now I have to come up with it because my husband is in jail. Somebody have to get him out. He ain't got nobody else. And along that time is when he started to have his own reality on, like, dang, I really don't have nobody but my wife. Duh, dummy, you don't.
And still ended up having a whole other baby.
So we got probation fees we got to worry about now. So now we got a child on the way, and I'm still sticking beside him. My mental is hanging on.
You put that cape on?
Yeah. The cape didn't flow off a couple times. I ain't even feel like making another one.
Did you go run and get it?
I ain't feel like running. I ain't had the strength to. At this point, I'm just holding on. Just holding on. And it's just like, it was draining.
Yeah.
I used to journal a lot because that was kind of my way of my scapegoat, to talk about things, to get it off my mind, because I was mentally just not, and even when our arguments, I just be like, you have the nerve to even want to, because I'm saying I need this, I need that. I just feel like you just never satisfied. It's always something. Sir, I don't give a damn if I ask you to go to the moon and back. Me staying here with you and dealing with what I dealt with, you should be saying, babe, okay, how long do I have to get there? How long do I have to get there? Because that's how much I put into your ass, so why you want trying to do it for me? Don't sit there and never act like I'm asking you for too much. And he always did that.
Yeah.
No, I ain't asking for too much. You not enough. That's what that is. But it took me a minute to get there.
Yeah.
Like, don't trigger me. I'm triggered. Like, that shit. Because it's be like the nerve of you to catch an attitude.
Yeah.
Because I'm asking you and I'm telling you what you're lacking in regards to fulfill me.
And it's crazy because what I'm saying to you, you cannot do. Whole time I'm doing way more. Trying to keep us together.
But we supposed to. They expected it. We here. That's what you supposed to do. You stayed, right? That's it said. You stayed, right? You knew what to expect. That does not mean so I stayed, meaning that you could at least give me something in this in return or meet me halfway or make me feel good about staying. Don't make me regret the fact that I stayed.
Yeah.
Because you're not giving me nothing to look into it to say, okay, this could possibly work.
Yeah, that's not cool.
It's not. Child. That whole time was just, I wouldn't wish that on nobody. I wouldn't tell nobody to stick it through if the person is giving them that type of time. Granted, I get people make mistakes. I am not a person that believes in divorce either. I didn't get married to get a divorce. I'm all for make your marriage work, only if both parties are willing to make it work.
How was your family feeling about everything?
Girl.
She got to pick the cup up.
So, y'all, only people I told a handful of people.
Yeah.
I only told my local friends here in Atlanta, because y'all, those that don't know, I was born and raised in Chicago, lived in Atlanta at that time for about 10 years now. At that time, it had only been like 5 or 6 years. So I had a group of friends here. One of my best friends lived here, and I had 2-3 other close friends I was close with. Told them, because I was literally about to have a mental breakdown. I called them, telling them they being very supportive. Like, friend, at the end of the day, like, that's your husband. You know, we get it. How can we help? And I know as women, they looking at me like, girl, you better than me. How we say it, like, I knew that was what they was giving, but friends enough to still not judge in that moment because
at the end of the day,
they knew,
as mature women, even though we probably want to go upside your head, because we know the person that you are, and we know that you deserve better. We can't see it because we're in it, but our friends are looking at us like, why you don't see your value, right? But as mature friends, we're like, we gonna stick beside her,
exactly.
Even though we want to, it's like, why hurt her even more and just ride it out with her. You have to I've learned this. Listen, abuse is abuse. But if your friend is not getting physically abused, emotionally abused, and they decide to stay with their partner, sometimes it's best to just, as long as that person's not in danger, to just let them write it out. That's their story.
And that's the only way they can learn from it.
And they have to go through it. Because you could tell them to leave, but at the end of the day, when they get lonely, are you going to be with them? When they, whatever, are you going to be there to fill that void? That person has to leave when they are ready. How many times have we said, we're going to leave? Right. And our friends sitting there like, okay, girl.
Right.
So happy for you. Back the next day. Back a week later. That person has to be ready. Bless you. That person has to be ready.
Girl. So I told a handful of friends, and I told my dad. My dad is like my best friend.
Okay.
My dad is also a reverend. So he know the word. And he know what the Bible says. But what I love about my dad is that none of that plays into effect. He was a father first.
Okay.
As well as a man.
Okay.
So he said, baby girl, the Bible says, adultery is basically your green light to get a divorce. God will forgive you because of what your husband did. So if you decide to get a divorce, you're forgiven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said, but also on the other side of it, as a man, I know we do make mistakes. And he was like, and also, as a husband, I know how you feel about your marriage, and it is your marriage. And only do what you feel you want to do for your marriage. If you feel that you want to make your marriage work, and both of y'all on the same page to make it work, do that. Do that. Because me, he like, I will be telling you, if I say men don't make, everybody make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's not what you do with the mistake, it's what you do after the mistake.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you, Daddy, for not being biased.
Yeah.
For not, just telling me, oh, well, yeah, get on about it. Yeah. He was very straightforward, very honest. He was a friend. He was a dad. He was a man. He was a husband. He was all those things that I was able to relate to. And he just told me, like, baby, pray on it. You don't have to have an answer right now. You don't owe it to nobody to tell nobody. This is your business. This is your marriage. And I asked my dad then, I said, you think I should tell my mama? He said, absolutely not. He said, absolutely not. And I'm going to tell y'all why. My mom
is the opposite.
Is the epitome of do not play with my child.
Okay.
Do not play with none of her kids. We dread even introducing any males to our mama because she gonna be the one sitting there looking at you like this, trying to read you like, I got a feeling about that one, something about that one. You know what I mean? And she had already have not.
He ain't drink from his cup, right?
Right. She was already not a fan.
Was she not?
From the jump, she was like,
oh, that's crazy.
But he grew on her based off of me and how I presented him and how we was together long enough.
How we interacted together too.
How we was together long enough. And she also was just on some like, my daughter loves you. My daughter wants to be with you. I'm her mom, so I'm going to support my daughter. You know what I mean? She's that. But when it comes down to you hurt my child, now it's the, I knew it. It's this. You know what I'm saying? Now she really speaking on how she feel because it's like, I knew you wasn't this. And I allowed my daughter, you know what I mean, to have to experience it.
Yeah.
So I just knew I wasn't ready for that type of heat. And my daddy told me, he said, do not tell your mom. He said, because she's not going to take it well.
Yeah.
And her energy, and especially if you know you're not really 100% sure about leaving, you don't need nobody. You don't need nobody opinion coming in and, overshadowing what you feel. You know what I mean? And I wanted to be all the way sure about my decision before I even mentioned it to my mom.
Yeah. And
so it took me a year. I waited a whole entire year to tell my mom. But what was crazy is when I prayed on it, I said, God, do you think I should tell my mom? And God told me clear as day. He said, wait on it. He said, because she's going to feel however you feel at the moment you tell her.
Okay.
If you present it to her heartbroken, she's going to be heartbroken. If you present it to her healed, okay with it, y'all on a good page, y'all doing good, y'all maintaining, her initial response is going to be she's hurt. She's probably disappointed. But she's going to eventually come back around and see it based off of your response.
Yeah.
And he was exactly right. It took me a year, but that's exactly what she did.
Yeah. I
was like, wow, God. He did it perfect. He was like, trust me, do it this way. Because I was tempted on telling her, he was like, no, you have to go to her whole. Like if you stern on leaving him, be stern on leaving him. If you stern on staying, she has to see you strong in it. You can't go to her broken and weak because then you're becoming impressionable at that point.
Yeah.
You're able to she gonna be throwing in all the, he ain't this, he ain't that, and you don't need that at this moment. You're very fragile right now. You don't know what you want right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need you to trust me and let me guide you through this. You know what I mean? And I was just like, okay. So yeah, fast forward when I finally did tell my mom a year later, she was broken. She called his phone, calling him, he ain't this, he ain't that. She called his mama. She called his mama like, I knew your son want this. And mind you, everybody's been past it. It's a year into it. She's late finding out. Everybody else is healed. They like, well, I'm sorry you feel the way, but we all done moved. As you see, we all done moved on. We all good. We know we not there no more. And eventually she, not even a good 3 days, she called me apologizing. She was like, I was heartbroken, but I don't know. I just feel like, the fact that you were able to maintain is like, I didn't have to go through it. You did. And the fact that you went through it and you sound good about it and you okay, is how could I feel a way when I didn't go through it? You did. So I have to be okay with it.
Yeah.
And then she was.
You thought that I wouldn't survive.